Welcome back for episode 11 in my off-season series, where we're trying something a little different today. We're honing in on one aspect of training, namely the chesticles, how to get the most out of your chest training. If this is your first time visiting this channel, welcome. But if you are a returning fan, welcome back. You may have noticed a change in logos, but the philosophy is still the same. Let's give a warm hello to Christy, making up the other half of HyperDex Fitness. Today is all about the chest. Watch slowly as my technique improves over the past few months during these few clips. I'm going to share with you every little tip and trick I've learned to improve my chest training so you can get the most out of yours. We're talking warm-ups, activation, stretches, proper form, intensity cues, training with a partner, when to end, movement patterns you're missing, all that and more, so stick around. So, let's get started with warming up for chest movements. Let's do it efficiently. You should want to get the most bang for your buck out of warm-up movements too, not just your progressive overload ones. So in my opinion, you should focus on one warm-up for each bucket of exercise in two different categories. One of them being shoulder-focused, joint mobility movements, and then one that's an actual chest muscle activation and stretch. Two people that have explained chest activation stretches the best to me have been Ben Pekulski and John Meadows. It's simply a bicep to sternum stretch, either statically with a hold against a bar or dynamically using a cable. You can simply start warming up with just push-ups with your elbows tucked nice and in, making sure you go through the full range of motion. But my favorite is the standing banded push-up. Taking a band, putting it across the back, under the elbows, and doing sort of a pressing fly movement, activating nothing but the pecs. The next category are shoulder mobility warm-ups. But you can also consider these warm-ups for the wrist and elbow along the way, but most of the movement is happening at the shoulder joint. The tried and true OG warm-up are PVC pipe shoulder dislocations, but then you can break it down and do specific internal and external rotation exercises for the shoulder joint. It's a little controversial whether or not to do shoulder cars or controlled articular rotations before or after chest and shoulder training. But I've never found a problem with them doing it before training. Alright, let's move on now. Let's talk about proper form and intensity cues. The first one I can provide for you is finish the rep, FTR. Remember, we're looking to shorten the muscle path at the top of each rep by bringing our biceps together at the sternum. It's easy to get a deep stretch too, but don't focus on that feeling 100%, as you can easily engage the shoulder and fall off of the pec in that full stretch. Try to allow for full active range of tension not to where your mobility will let you move. There's a difference there. This is where all that warming up will have come in handy. Intensity should be off the charts with any plate-loaded or selectorized machines. But with barbells and dumbbells, I think you should be a little bit more conservative, especially when training alone or without spotters. As you can see here, reps will slow down tremendously. But the key is to continue to control the eccentric and explode out of the hole. When your muscular contraction slows down, that's when you take some deep breaths and go for 3 to 10 more, depending on rep ranges and tolerances. But one of the keys here that people miss is pacing. It's very important here. Big breath on the way down, so you have some air to blow out on the way up. This keeps your tension throughout the rep and your tempo honest because it's dependent on your breathing, and you can only breathe so fast. If you notice the technical failure, live to fight another day, finish your breath, and that's it. Don't take 2 to 3 breaths just to finish the rep, like I've done here a few times. The elbows should really not flare that much, if at all, for any flat or decline pressing, even with a short torso. With dips and incline pressing, it's a natural way to engage the upper chest, yet limits the range of motion slightly if you notice. This is another reason why mobility is so important.
Hello everyone, my name is Christy. For all of the females watching this today, just because you're a woman does not mean you should skip chest day. Trust me, chest day is definitely not one of my favorite days, and I'm slowly learning to embrace it, and this is why. Training chest improves posture, it enhances overall upper body strength, which allows you to perform daily activities with ease. It balances your physique and boosts your metabolism by increasing muscle mass and helps with your lovey-dovey management, and we all know that we want to learn how to manage our lovey-doveys as women.
Training with a partner can be a great way to make it extra fun and more intense. One specific way is with forced reps. When your training partner notices this slowing down effect with the last 2 or 3 reps, they'll help you complete the last rep with the concentric range of motion, but let you completely take the weight on the eccentric. So with 2 or 3 more reps at full intensity this way, you can extend your set without having to rest, pause, drop set, or use any other intensity technique. Don't sleep on these chest movements or patterns. You're definitely missing out on them. I'll provide a couple with a little bit of tips along the way. The first are dips or decline presses. If they're hard, start on assisted dip or a decline Smith machine with a standalone bench that you have to roll in. Work on throwing your elbows out and back, and that will get the stretch that you need. Flies. All of them. Dumbbells, pec deck, cables. Focus on the stretch, not the contraction as much as you think. A nice slow pacing, and eventually you should feel the separation of upper and lower fibers during the contraction and the stretch. Lastly, forced stretches at the end of training, 30 to 60 seconds, both overhead, one arm at a time, or 2 arms in the pec deck, like I am performing here. How do you know when to say when? If you notice fatigue setting in, here are some things to look out for. Dropping off at the end of sets. You've stopped sweating and started getting clammy. You get lightheaded and it feels like your warm-up sets are heavy. You start shaking or the stability in the joint becomes questionable. With proper intensity, a lot of these symptoms are unavoidable. So without changing your nutrition with something like intra or peri-workout carbohydrates, you should notice when these fatigue patterns set in and call your workout accordingly. In which case, if you keep going, you're just causing more muscle protein breakdown than you'll be able to bounce back from by your next workout. Learning how to properly utilize intra-workout nutrition has been a game changer for my intensity and being able to sustain it throughout the entire workout. I'll plug True Nutrition down below. It's a company I use their supplements for in almost every single workout, and it keeps my gastrointestinal problems in check. They're always really easy to digest and they never cause any issues, and they always provide an advantage. So there you go, chest training in a nutshell. Everything you should need to go out and grow a huge pair of pecs. Thanks again to Christy for coming out with her guest spot and joining on with Hybrid X Fitness. Thanks again for you guys for watching. And if it's your first time, welcome to the channel. And if you've been around for a while, I hope you've been enjoying the new type of content lately. See you in the next one.
This is how I survive chest day. Usually I approach chest day with my partner just super excited that I even get the opportunity to work out with him at all. And a very nice, familiar pre-workout always helps me. Also, I like to approach chest day with the mindset that I'm not a bodybuilder and I'm not going to be lifting obviously as heavy or as intense as he is. My type of fitness is completely different, so I usually try to arrange my sets and my reps a little bit differently to fit my comfort and my workout goals.